Today I want to tell you a story about a family who lived on a homestead in remote British Columbia. This family had a beautiful homestead up in the mountains, only accessible by private road. They had two ways in and out. One was a really muddy road through a bunch of valleys and streams. They called it the soft way, just because it was always washed out and full of mud. It's a pretty terrible way to get in and out of their property. They had one long, much longer way to get in and out of the property, all through, winding through the tops of the mountains. They called it the hard way because it was just rocks, and it was always passable, but it was over 10 miles just to get to the nearest road in town. So they often tried not to take it because of how long it would take to get there. Every year, this family tried to take a vacation, get away from the homestead, just have a little bit of a break and see the rest of the world a little bit. They wanted their children to be exposed to the rest of the world. As the kids got older, they were able to leave one of their older sons home to watch the property and take care of it for the week while they were gone. And every year, one of the two sons got to stay home with the property. It was kind of a time for them to be independent and self-sufficient, as well as have the parents and the rest of the family have a time away. So the first year they let their youngest son stay home. Everything went super duper well, and they let him stay home the next year because he requested it. Now this family had a barn, they had animals, they had all sorts of stuff, but their most beloved animal was their pet dog. They had a dog they named Out. They named the dog Out because it could literally escape from anywhere. It was incredible. And it loved to be outside. So they named the dog Out because it always wanted to be out. Well, the kid's home with the dog, and he lets the dog play in the lower pasture while he's doing chores, and towards the end of the day, he looks for the dog, and the dog is just nowhere to be found. And this kid goes, oh my gosh, the dog has run away. What am I to do? So he goes down to the lower pasture and sees the dog where he'd been playing, where the tracks were. And he sees a lone set of dog tracks leading out the gate that had been left open by the young teenage boy, because that's what young teenage boys do. And that's okay. The dog had run out the rocky way towards town. And he goes, oh gosh, this dog's got a head start. I don't know how many hours. So the boy goes in. He gets his pack, he gets his overnight bag because it's starting to get dusk at this point, and he takes down the trail after the dog. 2 days later, the parents get home, and the child is nowhere to be found, and neither is the dog. And the parents think, oh, it's not too much of a worry. He's a young boy. He's probably out camping with the dog, having fun. You know, took an overnight to have fun for himself. He's a responsible young boy who knows how to survive and camp and be outdoors on his own. They were not worried in the least. No, he didn't come back the next morning and didn't come back the following day. At this point, they're getting a little bit concerned. They know his pack's gone, but his pack didn't have a lot with it. And finally, that evening, he comes struggling up the driveway, and they go, son, where have you been? Weary, he hands the dog to his parents. He collapses on the ground.
He can't hit any shots now?
He goes, the dog ran off. He went all the way to town. He goes, I had to hike 20 miles round trip to get this animal. But I want you to know, I found out the hard way.
Oh my gosh. Dance on him.
Y'all just did that on your own.
Dude, freaking Rango just destroyed.